Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to the last part of my 24-hour marathon. I've had fun doing this the past 2 days. My videos are up on this channel, part 1 and part 2. And now it's down to the last part of the marathon for me. The last part of the marathon is pick a trilogy or make your own trilogy of films. Uh, I gave you a little sneak preview last night of what I was going to do at the end of my part 2 video. Instead of doing a trilogy, I'm going to do, I guess, this is actually a 6-part series. The Mummy Complete Legacy Collection that recently came out on Blu-ray. Now, the first movie, the original Mummy, Boris Karloff, I've seen that one, and the one with Abbott and Costello that came out in 1955, I've seen that numerous times growing up, because I was a big Abbott and Costello fan, and they would show it on every Sunday on Channel 11 in New York. They would show that, in rotation, of course, obviously, but I've seen it tons of times. But there's 4 movies in here: The Mummy's Hand, The Mummy's Tomb, The Mummy's Ghost, and The Mummy's Curse that I haven't seen at all, that I didn't even know about, that there were sequels to it, to the original Mummy. Okay, so I'm going to review those for the last, they'll be the last 4 reviews I'll do on this marathon, part 3 of this marathon, which I had complete fun doing. And again, thank you. I want to thank, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. I apologize for that. We're drawing a complete blank on his name now. Oh. There we go. I'll put it over the video. And I apologize for drawing a complete blank. Oh, Ryan Chattaway. I'm sorry. I just drew a complete blank when I tried to think of his name. Ryan Chattaway. He's the one that originated this. And also then Angel Tarragon, who did the marathon this year, which I watched, which I really enjoyed his 2-part. He broke his into 2 parts. So I'm breaking mine into 3 parts. Again, it'll be the Mummy Complete Legacy Collection. I guess the 4 middle films. And then not the original Mummy, which I've seen already, and not the last one, Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, which I've seen numerous times. So it's going to be The Mummy's Hand, The Mummy's Tomb, The Ghost of the Mummy, The Mummy's Ghost, and The Mummy's Curse. So first up is going to be The Mummy's Hand, which came out in 1940. Okay, so that was 8 years, because the original Mummy came out in 1932, and then The Mummy's Hand came out in 1940. Okay, that's kind of weird, but hey, I'll take it as it comes. Okay, so let me, I know, Lon Chaney, I think, did the Mummy. He played the Mummy in, I think, in 3 of these movies. I think the Mummy's Tomb, The Mummy's Ghost, and The Mummy's Curse. I think that was Lon Chaney Jr., but I'll let you know when I do my review. Okay? So, anyway, I'm getting ready to eat my favorite cereal there, honey nuts and oats, which I'm really come to enjoy. I'm going to eat that while I watch, again, the first movie is going to be The Mummy's Hand, which came out in 1940. Okay? So, I'll see you in a bit with my review of that one. Okay, see you in a bit. Hi, I'm back. I just got through watching The Mummy's Hand, 1940 movie starring Dick Foran, Peggy Foran, and Wallace Ford is in this as well. Basically, this story from the Mummy collection is about a mummy that's revived. Basically, in the beginning of the movie, they explain a little bit of the backstory. The high priestess is dying, the current one, and he, I guess, goes to his successor, and basically tells him the story about Princess Annika and how she died prematurely and how her lover was distraught that she died. And he tried to, basically he broke ancient law by he was going to revive her to come back. So what they did was bury him as a mummy, cut his tongue out and buried him alive as a mummy. And his fate was cursed to be a living mummy and to protect the grave of Princess Annika against anybody that would defile it. Okay, an ancient priestess explains that to the his successor before he dies, that if anybody defiles the tomb, you burn 3 leaves, and Annika would come to life. You feed him the 3 leaves, and then you burn 9 leaves for him to destroy anybody that defiles the tomb. Okay, and so into this story enters 2 characters, which is typical of these 1940s movies. You have the leading man type character played by Dick Foran and his sidekick, who's like the comedy relief, who tells all the jokes and stuff. And they're basically, they were treasure hunters, and they basically come up empty and they're on their last legs, and they go to a bazaar and they find actually a vase that they believe will lead them to the tomb of Princess Annika, but they have no money. So they actually they get a down and out magician who's getting ready to leave the country with his young daughter, and of course they convince him to kind of finance them, and of course they defile the tomb, and hence Prince and that the mummy goes after them. Now, as a movie, this was it was a decent movie. The movie's about 67 minutes. There's a lot of humor in this, especially in the beginning of the movie. You don't see the mummy until until like midway into the movie. But I mean, they have a lot more. It's more kind of humorous in the beginning of the movie. You don't get kind of the horror part of it until towards the later part of the movie in this. But they do a decent. Like I said, you have the guy that's a sidekick. He provides a lot of the humor. Him and the magician, played by Wallace Ford. He provides a lot of the humor in this. And of course, you kind of you have the feisty young daughter who's of course mad at the two treasure hunters who basically make her father pay all the money. So, but like I said, it's these, and the mummy itself was these. I mean, you don't see that much horror. I mean, he does a bunch of that strangling. He does his usual slow mummy walk, but the makeup again looked great on the mummy character itself. So I mean, but it's an okay, not a great story. Like I said, I think the original, of course, the one with Boris Karloff was a lot more straightforward, and less humor than this one. This one they kind of play it up with especially with the sidekick character. He's provides a lot of the humor. Him and the magician older father character played by Wallace Ford provide a lot of humor in this. So it's not as horror filled until like the middle part to the later part of the movie. Okay, but the mummy makeup is decent, I think, in this. So overall, let me give The Mummy's Hand. I'll give it a 6. Not that it's that much horror in it, and the kind of romance between the straight hero character and the feisty young, who couldn't see that coming a mile away. That's just like totally predictable, even though they really don't have no time to really set up any kind of romance. But there it is. Okay, so again, I'll give it a 6 for The Mummy's Hand. Okay, now I'm getting ready to watch 1942's The Mummy's Tomb, which I believe is the first appearance of Lon Chaney as the mummy character in this, because I think he did a couple of appearances as the mummy, okay, which I didn't know about till later. Like, I always just thought he was the Wolfman and Frankenstein and Dracula in the movie, but I didn't know he actually played the mummy character as well. So I'm getting ready to watch 1942's The Mummy's Tomb, which I think stars Lon Chaney. So I'll look at that, and I'll be back with my review of that. So later. Okay, I'm back with the second, I guess, sequel to the original Mummy, and this one's called 1942's The Mummy's Tomb. This one is actually a direct sequel to whereas the second movie took place 3 years later with different characters. This one actually is a direct sequel to The Mummy's Hand, which I reviewed a little bit earlier. Okay, this is called The Mummy's Tomb, and this is the first appearance as Lon Chaney as the Mummy. Lon Chaney Jr. as the Mummy, and this one actually has the characters from the previous movie in the movie. And if you hadn't seen the previous movie, don't worry about that. They give you a little backstory in the beginning of the movie, and the good thing is they use the same actors in this movie. And this just takes place like supposedly 30 years later, so they just use the same actors and just put makeup on them to look older. And basically, what this story is about is that, of course, the mummy survived the curse. So, and I don't know if it's spoiled, since this was not a different mummy, and that mummy is brought by another high priestess to exact revenge for people that desecrated the grave in the last movie. Okay, and that's basically what this movie's about. Okay, the mummy's mummy has a hit list basically, and the mummy's going through it with the aid of his high priestess to get revenge on the people that desecrated his grave and their relatives. It's actually a pretty decent sequel because they actually, like I said, they use the same actors. They just put them in old age makeup so they can look a little bit, they look older, 30 years older, and they actually made it. They gave you a reasonable explanation of how the mummy survived. Okay, which is sometimes in some of these movies when they did horror movies back in the 40s, when they did sequels, they didn't always explain how things were. But in this one, they actually give you, like I said, if you hadn't seen the other movie before this one, The Mummy's Hand, if you see the beginning of this movie, they actually show you exactly what happened in the previous movie. And a good thing is, like I said, they used the same actors, some of the actors from the previous movie in this sequel. Okay, and it's actually a pretty decent movie. There's no, the comedy has been cut out. Like the last movie, Mummy's Hand, had a lot of comedy in it. This one, The Mummy's Tomb, is just straight horror, drama, fantasy. Okay, no comedy in it, so to speak. Okay, no jokes, corny jokes and stuff, and anything. This is played strictly for horror. Okay, so and actually pretty decent. So I would give The Mummy's Tomb, again, first appearance of Lon Chaney Jr. as the Mummy character. I think he did it. I think he appeared in 3 movies, but I'll just let you know at the end of this. Definitely give The Mummy's Tomb. I give it a 7.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 because it's actually, like I said, they cut out the comedy in this. Exactly, so it's straight horror, okay, and you actually do a good job playing it straight, okay, and Lon Chaney Jr.'s Mummy's character, the makeup looks great as usual, and he's, like I said, a lumbering force, lumbering slow force, but he's a lumbering force, okay, and again, they play it totally straight, so again, 7.5 for The Mummy's Tomb. The next movie up in the for the marathon is going to be The Mummy's Ghost, 1944. Okay, and I think that's Lon Chaney Jr. as well. So I'll be back in a little bit with that one. Again, this movie, Mummy's Tomb, is only like an hour, which actually it seemed, which it got a lot done in that hour. Okay, again, they cut out straight to the BS and straight to the movie. Okay, and basically I think the first couple of minutes were basically a recap of the previous movie. Anyway, next movie again is Mummy's Ghost, 1944, and I think that's Lon Chaney Jr. as well. So I'll see you in a bit for my review of that. Okay, I'm back. I just got through watching The Mummy's Ghost, 1944. This movie, of course, stars Lon Chaney Jr. again as the mummy. And in this one, another ancient priest is sent to America this time. As you remember from the last movie, The Mummy's Tomb, the mummy was destroyed at the end. I guess that's a spoiler. And he was, and it's years later in the same town. And this time, an ancient priest is sent to America to retrieve the bodies of Princess Aneka, whose grave was actually desecrated a couple movies back and brought to America. And they also want to resurrect the mummy, okay, and bring him back. So this priest is tasked to go to America and bring back, Kairos, the mummy, and also Princess Aneka, and return them to Egypt. Of course, things don't go exactly according to plan. Of course, with amongst it, the mummy being resurrected, there's murders and stuff to be found, and also there's a young girl Egyptian girl who has a mysterious feeling whenever the mummy is around. Okay, and that's part of the plot as well. And again, this one is played straight drama, no comedy in this at all. But this story is not as good as the last one, which kind of they're all kind of sequels taking place years later. But this one is not as good. I think the other one, Mummy's Tomb, was a lot better because, like I said, it followed directly, well, 30 years later, but it relied on what happened in the previous movie, and this movie does that as well. But it's not as well done as this one, as the previous one. I guess that's what I want to say. It's not as well done as the other one. John Carradine plays young John Carradine plays the new high priestess who's tasked to come to America to retrieve Kairos, the mummy, and Princess Aneka. And of course, like I said, there's murders along the way. And again, the mysterious Egyptian girl who figures into the plot as well, which I don't want, that part I won't spoil for you as well. And it's about, again, like a little over an hour. So, and it gets straight to the point, no comedy, straight, but it's not as good as I think as the other one. So I'm going to give The Mummy's Ghost, I'll give it a 6.5. I'll give it a 6.5. It's not as good as The Mummy's Tomb, which I thought was a lot better, okay, than this one. And it's still better than The Mummy's Hand, which is like, had more comedy and stuff in there. But this one's like in the middle between it. It's not as good as The Mummy's Tomb, but it's better than The Mummy's Hand, put it that way. Okay, and the last movie that I'm going to review for this marathon is going to be The Mummy's Curse, which came out in 1944 as well. So I don't know, they probably filmed it because these movies, like I said, generally these movies are like an hour, a little over an hour, so they probably filmed it in the same year, and that's got the same release date, The Mummy's Curse, again, and I think that's the last appearances of Lon Chaney Jr. as the Mummy. And again, he was really good in The Mummy's ghost. He was good as usual. Though. Makeup looks great. The mummy makeup looked great and stuff. He was good. He's generally menacing and stuff. Okay, and definitely gonna watch the last one again. The Mummy's Curse, 1944. So I'll be back after I review that. Hi, I'm back, and to wrap up my movie marathon, I just got through watching The Mummy's Curse, 1944. Again, this movie stars Lon Chaney Jr. as the Mummy, Karis, and this one takes place 25 years after the previous movie, and in the swamps of Louisiana during an irrigation project where there's draining the swamp, the mummy is resurrected, and again you have another priestess that comes to collect Karis and return him and Princess Anaka back to ancient Egypt. But of course, things don't go quite according to plan. And this one again is, has a little jovial thing in the beginning of the movie, but it's played again straight for horror in this movie again. Lon Chaney Jr. again plays the mummy, Karis, and he's his usual brutal force in this movie. Just but in this movie he has a purpose. Okay, he's seeking the Princess Anaka in this one, so it has a little bit more purpose in it. But it's like I said, the movie's like an hour, so it gets straight to the point. No, not a lot of BS in there. I mean, they tell the story again about how and what happened in the previous movies and stuff, which is a good. So if you haven't seen the other movies, you get kind of caught up because they kind of go over the history of the mummy, of when it was discovered and brought to America and all that stuff. So the history of it, and then of course the mummy does his thing, and it's a decent movie again. But I still think the best of them is the Mummy's Tomb. I think that one is besides the original one with Boris Karloff, I guess would be the number one. But I guess the Mummy's Tomb would be the best one out of all the 6 movies. I guess I would put that one first, and then the Mummy's Tomb as the best ones, I guess. But this one's, like I said, it's a decent thing. Again, all Lon Chaney do is slide and kill and hamper it, and the supporting cast is okay, and especially there's a young actress that plays Virginia. Her name is Virginia Christie. She plays the young Princess Anaka. I think she was pretty good as well. But most of the characters, are decent, and it's a fair horror movie. Okay, nothing spectacular in it. Again, I would give The Mummy's Curse, but at least they, like I said, they're kind of consistent with advancing the story from year to year. One movie takes place, then the other movie takes place years later and stuff. So they do kind of keep it consistent, which is a plus in its favor. So I would definitely give The Mummy's Curse a 6.8. I'll give it a 6.8. It's a decent. There's nothing spectacular, but it's decent. A decent entry into the Mummy franchise. Okay, and so that's it for my movie marathon, 24-hour movie marathon that should cover all the things in the category. And again, I want to thank Ryan Chattaway and he came up with the movie marathon, and of course Angel Tarragon for doing it as well. And so this is my official last part of my contribution to the thing. So I want to again thank those 2 gentlemen. Again, I'll leave links to their channels in the description box so you can check their channels out as well and check out their marathons as well. They're 2 great fellow YouTubers, and couldn't do this, I guess, without them because they came up with it. So I'm just following their lead. Okay, so again, I had a good time doing this, and I'll probably do another marathon maybe the next time I go on vacation, or maybe the next time we have a long weekend or something like that. I just had a real good time doing this movie marathon, so I really appreciate it. Anyway, I'll leave links to my social media in the description box. My Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram are in the description box, as well as my other channel. All the views and opinions are down there, so please follow the links and check those out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.